Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to fuel up so that we can use this vintage Cygnus table lighter. One of the advantages, from my perspective, to using a table lighter when you're able is that you have a much larger fuel tank, much less prone to evaporation in most cases, and therefore you're going to get better efficiency for your petrol fuel. These Cygnus table lighters work just about as good as the pocket models. I haven't had any complaints of any of the ones that I have owned. I think I've had 4 or 5 of them at this point. But I also took some criticism in the comments section the other day from Jacob's Garage, and we had a good laugh at the end of it, because he said he always is screaming at the video, shaking his head, saying WTF when I overfill the lighter every time. And I feel your pain, Jacob. First of all, when it comes to the can of Zippo lighter fluid, be careful. I have had some of these that by digging my fingers down in there, I've damaged the nozzle, and then it wants to squirt out sideways. So try to use an implement or something that you can cleanly get down underneath it and then pry it up. You can hear the seal being broken. So that little plastic valve does actually provide some kind of seal. How strong it is, I don't know. Now, getting back to Jacob's comment and the WTF on why I overfill it every time. For one thing, you mentioned, Jacob, that with the Zippo you just need to do it for 5 seconds a couple of times, and I get that. And I don't overfill my Zippos as much as I do the others. I've gotten better at it. But I fill so many different lighters that it is somewhat of a chore. But this Cygnus table lighter should be relatively easy. Another problem with refilling one without it leaking or getting fuel all over the place, not necessarily overfilling it, but these nozzles tend to leak. I think you want to get it pretty much straight up and down. I didn't think it used to matter, but it does seem like it works a little bit better. Or maybe it's just whether or not you get a hold of a bum nozzle or not. But we're going to go ahead now and fill this up. As you hold the fuel can on the spines, you can kind of give it a little squeeze with your hand, applying enough pressure to get the flow of fluid to squirt into the wadding, but you don't want to squirt enough to where it backs all the way out of there. It's one thing that we ought to be able to accomplish with this lighter that I am not able to accomplish with most petrol lighters. At least I would think it would take enough time for the fluid to absorb and soak down into the wadding that by the time that is full, we should know it. It shouldn't sneak up on us like it does in some of the smaller petrol lighters. And not only that, but you can see where squirting that in there like that, with that recessed area where the fuel screw goes, I have overfilled this, and that area is full there of excess fuel. Still don't have anything coming out the bottom, but that does look pretty saturated, the wadding there on top. And I did lose some of that fuel off the top there. Down here onto the surface. I don't believe that fell out from under the snuffer. We'll go ahead now and get the fuel screw back in place. That's one thing you'll notice if you deal with many Cygnus lighters. They tend to retain their gaskets very well. They were manufactured with spare flint compartments. While it's not uncommon to find them with degraded flint concreted inside of them, you do, at least most of the time, find the lighters with that spare flint compartment still present. If you tighten that too much, you push your O-ring out. So wouldn't think you would want to tighten it much more than that. That may be a little too tight. That doesn't seem tight at all. So this is a lighter that we're going to use, not a everyday carry lighter. Obviously, I'm not putting this in my pocket to light while I'm on the go. Be more likely to put it in my pocket to use it as a weapon if I wanted to carry it someplace. It's so heavy. You're not going to conceal this or put it in your pocket or your jacket, but you will get great fuel economy from using it around the house, club, man cave, wherever it is that you hang out, spend your time. And you can see there is definitely some extra vapors creeping around that chimney area up there, but successful ignition nonetheless. And we're going to use it around here, like I said, hopefully until we empty it. We'll just see how long it takes. We're sitting here on September 29th in the year 2022. I think it might make it to Christmas time. Until next time.